One of the cool things about Blender is that you can not only download the installer version, but also a portable version. The portable zip is available so that you can download, extract, and use right away without the need to install Blender. I really like this method of downloading Blender because it allows me to update my Blender version by simply replacing one folder with another. The cool thing about this is that the preferences are all stored outside of this folder, so I'm going to show you where they are. I'm here on a Windows PC, so it will be slightly different on Linux or Mac OS, but on Windows, you can go to your main drive, enter into your users folder, then your username, then app data, then roaming. There you should find a Blender Foundation folder. Next, click on Blender, and you will see that there are a bunch of folders here with different Blender versions. So right now I am on 2.93, and actually, since I am not planning to use any older Blender version, for now I can go ahead and delete this. Okay, so what's inside this folder? There's a couple of main folders, config and scripts. So inside config, we have two very important .blend files. One is defining the startup file and the other is defining the user preferences. So the startup file will allow you to save the state of Blender when you open it. So for example, if I want the outliner to be slightly bigger, that is something you can save in the startup file. Or if I don't usually use the timeline here, I can go ahead and delete it. And this will be saved on the startup file. Any preferences, like for example, your render engine and other settings will also be saved on the startup file. And you can go ahead and go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File in order to save this file. So the interesting part is that this is in the OS configuration folders, so I can replace my Blender version folder with no problems because it won't delete my preferences and my startup file. So the preferences file relates to this, edit preferences, and here you can select your default user preferences. So things like, do I want to select with left click or right click? Or what kind of add-ons do I to enable by default when I launch Blender, things like that. So this is also saved in the user preferences file.